hey, I'd like to borrow some money. I won't make any payments. I don't have any credit. I don't have any assets to give you. Trust me. And oh, by the way, you're going to have to wait 3 to 5 years to know whether or not you're going to get paid.
Usually when an entrepreneur describes the process as exciting, what they mean is terrifying. And I'm curious if you could maybe shed some light on some of the bigger obstacles that you've had to overcome over the years. And also as a follow-up, whether entrepreneurs today are facing similar obstacles or if there's more infrastructure that would make the process easier now.
So, Jared, I think there's probably 3 things if I look at our history of the challenges that we face that were frankly terrifying. The first issue that we faced was we were starting a business model that nobody had ever heard of in the Canadian marketplace. If you build upon that, the nature of our business was atypical to a typical lending company. Can you imagine going to a traditional lender and saying, hey, I'd like to borrow some money. I won't make any payments. I don't have any credit. I don't have any assets to give you. Trust me. And oh, by the way, you're going to have to wait 3 to 5 years to know whether or not you're going to get paid. And if I lose, I don't want to pay you anymore. That was the second biggest challenge that we faced. The third biggest challenge after we got over those 2 was how do you manage it? And how do you collect the necessary information to actually adjudicate it and adjudicate it properly to be able to manage the risk from a risk perspective and a business perspective? And then ultimately, what platform do you run it on when this doesn't exist in the Canadian marketplace? And there's no existing service providers to help you with the data. That was a challenge that we faced, which is why I think it was exciting.
And the sort of follow-up question, entrepreneurs that are looking to build fintech products today that are unique from what's currently on the market, would you say that they are similarly starting from scratch, building the infrastructure out for themselves, or has a lot of that groundwork been done? And would it be easier for you to introduce an innovative product to the market now compared to 7, 8 years ago when you did?
I think anytime an entrepreneur is trying to build a business, they've identified a need. And if they've identified a need, that means there's a gap in the marketplace. And irregardless of the technological investments that have been made, the ancillary companies that have been created to support that entrepreneur, they've identified that gap and they're going to face a struggle. Is it going to be hard or easy? Depends on how big the gap is they find. But anytime you're trying to fill a gap, it's a lot of work, it's a lot of fun, and you're really trying to address a need in the marketplace, which is ultimately good for the consumer.